Okay, hello everybody, welcome back. If you remember the last episode, there probably wasn't as much background noise, and we set up this character to move and face which way he is moving. Today I said I would set up the changes in the animation for whether he's walking or sprinting. I think I said I would set up sprinting as well. So we got a lot to do today, and first things first, I'm going to get the boring stuff out of the way. That would be project settings, input. We're going to need an action key for sprinting. So hit the plus sign, say sprint. This will just be left shift as an action key. You can also say shift over here, but that's for like if you want shift W. So if we just want left shift, we want to know when that button's getting pressed. We'll just say that. That's all we needed to do. It's that easy. Now, to set up sprinting first, actually another good practice is when you have something done. Well, I don't know if this is a good practice, but I like to do it. You highlight the nodes of a function that you have, right click, collapse nodes, and it looks so much nicer. You can say movement, you can change the color. Let's make it movement a bright yellow, maybe not a bright yellow, a nice yellow color, and then we can position these all nice and neat. So I like to work here, collapse them. You can double click on these and then go back. I have buttons on my mouse that do that. Eventually we'll need to add to this too, so it's great that I can go in here and change it. Now, we want our action event that we just set up for sprinting. Jumping was one default that was made for the other character. Now, what do we want this to do? How are we going to make it sprint? Well, we know we have our character movement component, and we know we have a max walk speed. So when this is pressed, first of all, we can get our movement component out here, and then we can search something like walk speed. Set max walk speed. Isn't that convenient? Like, wow. And then I'm going to do something that's kind of neat. I'm going to set up some variables. So this will be our walk speed and run speed. So these are variables that are part of our player as a whole. So this walk speed will be a float. This run speed will be a float. And I'm going to check these little eyeballs. So the walk speed I had is 400, so we'll just leave it at that. But the run speed should be something like 650. So now, when the action key is pressed, I want to change the max walk speed to run speed. And so far that's it. And when it's released, I want to set max walk speed. I'll get the character movement out again. Well, I can just do it from here. Set max walk speed. And over here, I'll set it to walk speed. So that when you press it, it sets it to the run speed, but as soon as you release it, it goes right back to the walking speed. So let's test this out. See if we did it right. So let's get some perspective. So we can walk across here, we can walk across here. Now if I press shift, we go faster. This is sprinting, not sprinting. Sprinting, not sprinting. There's a clear difference. And I can turn it up. I just go to run speed here and change it to like 800. This will be a lot easier to see. We'll be going twice as fast. So you can see walking, running, running, walking, running. Oh, I thought I could fit through there. Yay, running, walking, cool. But I don't want that to be 800. I liked 650. Now, if we wanted to make it harder for the player to get up to that speed, what we could do is change our our acceleration. Max acceleration, it's 2048 right now. We can change this like 512. So now our player is going to accelerate very slowly. You can almost see the acceleration. If I hold shift, you can really see it takes him a while to get up to speed. Let's just trying to get up to speed. But I like that at 1024. We could always change that too. Like if your game, if you wanted to have some boots that make you accelerate faster, you could do that right there. It's already set up. Cool. So that's sprinting. Bang. Collapse nodes. Sprint. Should really change it to sprint. Sprinting, the gerund form. We can change this to a nice pinkish color. Cool. So now we have sprinting, movement. Now I need to set up those changes in animation I talked about. Now for this, we're going to need something called an enumeration. So go here, blueprints, enumeration. Now this enumeration will be for animation state, which is AS underscore normal. This will be basically for not sprinting. We could double click on this, add enumerators. We'll need 3. We'll need idle, walking, and running. So basically we'll be able to change which value this enumerator is set to. I'll control W this if I can, and this will be animation state aimed. Save that, and same thing, idle, walking. I think this is the order I put them in. Running. Cool. Now, we're going to need something. I am going to have to look at my other one for this. It's going to be a function, I know that, because I have it set anim state machine right here. Where do I call this in my event graph? An animation updating. Yes. So I'm going to make some new variables over here, as you can see. So we're going to need a variable for every animation. So we'll have idle. Idle, which will be a flip book, paper flip book, and it will be idle by default. And we're going to put this in a category for animations. As you'll see over here, it puts it in a nice little subsection. We'll add another variable, we'll name it walking, put it in animations, compile, set its default to walking, animations, add variable, running, it's already a paper flipbook, put it in animations, compile. Is there a shortcut for compile? I don't think so. Maybe there is if I change something. Running. Okay. So now there's running. Need another one for idle underscore aimed. This will be in animations. Default value will be idle aimed. This is just the painstaking part. When you want a lot of animations, you're going to have to do a lot of setup and a lot of art too. That's the reason why the animations I have are so simple for this, because it takes a lot of work. But if you're making a game and you really want to do that, then it should be no problem to work for what you really want. Alright, so I'm going to start setting up my, another few variables. I want a boolean for is moving. I could set up another variable for is sprinting. This is something I haven't done before, and that's also a boolean. So in sprinting, once we set the max walk speed, we can also set is sprinting. It's dumb. Moving set to true. That's moving. Is sprinting set true, and then down here, when we release it, it will be false. This will make our animation logic a little bit more simple. Now, I keep forgetting I'm in the collapse node. I'm also, what do I want to do now? What do I want to do? How do I want to start this? We're going to need a custom event. That's what I need. Which, so we're going to say custom event, add custom event. It'll be called update animation. Now, the first thing we're going to do is set up a variable for current speed. Which will be a float, and we're going to get velocity, which is a vector, so you want to get length, vector length, which is just the speed. And you're going to want to set the current speed. This isn't really important, but it makes it other things cleaner later. And then we also want to, I think we want to branch here. No. We want to check if this is greater than 0. And then we'll set is moving. No, not get. Set is moving to this value. So if this is greater than 0, then this will be true, and it will be moving, so it'll be correct. Pretty basic stuff here right off the bat. And I'm going to call this update animation basically after we start moving or we start sprinting. So it'll keep updating. I'm going to take a drink of water real quick. Now I think it's when it gets a little bit complicated. Yes, anim state machine. Cool. So I'm going to need a new function called animation state machine. Rename. Machine with a G, not a G. With an E, not a G. Don't know what I was thinking there. And when we update the animation, we're going to call this, which right now does not have much set up, but I do know that over here I want inputs. One of them will be is moving. No, I might not need that. Okay, so over here I made it a local variable. So I won't need to do that. Never mind. Don't need this. Cool. So in here, sorry, I have to refer back to here so much. Okay, so we're going to start setting our enumerations. So we want to branch. And this branch is going to be based off of is moving. So if we aren't moving, sorry, I keep forgetting. Animation state normal will be a normal animation state, and variable animation state aimed will be aimed. Cool. Default they're idle, so that's good. And if it's false, if we are not moving, we want to get this, we want to set it to idle, and we want to get the aimed, and we want to set it to idle as well. So that one's pretty easy. If we're not moving, we want to set our animations to idle. But if we are moving, we want to branch again. And we want to get our is sprinting for this branch. So if we aren't sprinting, it means we're walking. So we're going to get this, we're going to set it. I like these to be in line a little bit at least. Cool. So we'll set this to walking, and we'll set our aimed to walking as well. Why does that go lower? It does not. I am delusional. Okay. But if we are sprinting, we need to set both of these to running. I got the names completely mixed up there, which is not really something you want to do. If you call it running one place, you need to call it running everywhere. Just a simple mistake I made. Throat's getting dry. Alright, line these up a little bit better. Okay. So now after all this, we need our function to have an output, which will be our flipbook. This will not be a boolean, this will be a flipbook. A paper flipbook. And we want a reroute node because it looks nice. Drag all of these into here. I think this is how we do this. There's probably a more efficient way to do this. But for now, I'm going to get a select. And we're going to drag our normal enumeration into here. And now it gives us options for these. So this is when we get our animations. This one's idle, so we want to get it, drag it into here. Walking, get it, drag it into here. Because up to now it didn't know what this enumeration was for, but now it knows it's for paper flipbooks. Get all these lined up, move them in closer. Cool. So based on what this enumeration is, whether idle, walking, or running, it'll choose one of these and output it. Now we want to do the same thing, but with our aimed. And then we'll use idle aimed, plug it into idle, walking aimed, walking. At least I was consistent in most places with running. I just called it sprinting with the buttons in the function. And the variable, whatever. Oops, select the whole thing, move it up to here. So this will do the same thing but with the aimed. And now we want another select node. And either select this one or this one based off of... Oh, we haven't done aiming yet. So that doesn't matter for now. I'm going to have to do aiming, aren't I? I don't know, the video's too long. For now, what we can do is not do aiming. And we can just get these basic animations to work. Where do I have an error? could not find the pin parameter state machine. Excuse me? Okay, well, that was odd. That shouldn't have happened. But now, we're idle. Did I not set these right? Hold on. I never called my update animation event. So in movement, we're gonna click update animation. So this is gonna call the function update animation. And this should be good actually. Nope. Still not wanting to work. That is because we have not changed our flipbook yet. So after we run this, it gives us a flipbook, but we haven't done anything with it. That's because we want to set paper flipbook, which we will do with ourself, or this sprite set paper. How do I want to do this? I guess I can't do that. Okay, so unclick context sensitive set paper flipbook. It's not wanting to work. No. I want to set paper how do I get to that node? Oh, it's just set flipbook. Set flipbook. There it is. Set flipbook. No big deal. Drag our flipbook into the flipbook. Error. Oh, we want to drag our sprite component into here. That's what I needed to do. Okay, so now we're idle. Now I hit W and we're walking. And now I hit shift and our animation is going faster. Now we're going slower, now we're going faster. Cool. So that's how you do basic animation logic. Thank you so much for watching. That's going to be it for this episode. We set up a lot, and now what we can do, select all this, collapse nodes, name it animation updating, and give it a nice light blue color. Alright, so we have 3 mechanics of a character done. So thank you so much for watching. Comment if you have questions or would like to know how to do something else. Next episode we'll be going over the aiming system, which does get a little bit complicated. So I will see you next time.